Hey there, my name is Justin with Three Sons Roasting, and today I'm going to clean my Aillio Bullet. If you are a new coffee roaster, picked one of these up and want to see what it looks like to clean it, that's what I'm going to do today. So you're going to need some supplies to keep this thing clean. So obviously a brush, Coffeeza, spray bottle from Home Depot, some sort of bowl for hot water and parts. The Aillio Bullet comes with a toolkit, and this has everything you need to take parts apart, get them clean, and put it back together. Very, very easy. First thing I like to do is make sure that the chaff collector is clean. Here's your chaff collector. Inside there is a chaff filter and a rubber gasket, which just peels right off. And then you have the chaff collector itself, so I can put this aside till later. More regularly, like after every few roasts, you want to take this piece out and you want to get the chaff off of it. So I use this little portafilter scrub or a different brush. Now as you clean this more regularly, if you can see light through it, it's going to be usable. But if you do not scrape this off regularly, it will get clogged to where you can't see through it. All material that needs to be cleaned, we're going to set in this bowl and let it rest in the solution. Gasket. Okay, some parts on the front. I have my chaff collector or bean collector. Has a chaff filter in it. So I'm going to unplug this. You don't really need this for the cleaning process. You can clean this if you want to, but not a lot happens there, so I'm going to put that aside. Inside, I have a chaff filter. So what this does is this fan is what draws air through the beans, and additional chaff that's in this bowl gets stopped by this filter. If you don't have that filter, chaff will just blow out the back. But this also can get clogged with oil as well. And so you could either try to clean this and reuse it, or you can get a new filter, which I'll probably put in a new filter today. So I'm going to put this aside for now. Okay, turn down the bullet to show some of the things in the front. You can clean this lid. This, you don't want to clean, it's electric. The bean probe checker, I don't know what you call this. This is just a handle, so you can take the wood handle off and clean this part. Alright, I made the mistake of trying to do this project outside. It's 30 degrees and my hands are freezing. Now I want to clean the back of the machine. In here we have a fan, and that's the only part that needs to be removed. So let's get our tools. This fan can be removed by using a hex head, I don't know what size. There is I'll show you when I remove it. There's one blade of this fan that has a groove in it that will allow you to unscrew and detach. There's a groove right there in that blade. And you're going to put this into that groove and unscrew. All right. There we go. This is that groove I was talking about right there. It was a little bit harder than I anticipated because of how cold it is, but this is that fan blade, and this will also get cleaned up. Then is clean up all the loose debris that I can with the big brush. there could be loose debris and coffee beans in this tunnel, so we're gonna push coffee up into the drum this way if we can. Using that big brush, I go as far as I can, and then I push it back the other way. I pushed it too far. See all that? A lot of debris came out. There we go. And then to break up any loose debris, I like to push it down in here as well. You can see a lot is coming out. So then, I get my Cafisa solution, which the bottle tells you how much to use. Looks like 6 grams of Cafisa for 1 liter of water. And this is very, very strong, powerful, great for cleaning coffee oil off of metal. So I pre-made that solution, and so what I'm going to do is just spray anywhere I can see oil. Should have put a bowl under that. That would have been smart. Like that, perhaps, the bowl that I had. So now we're going to clean the back up by scrubbing with a more less soft brush, a little bit more. You can see, oh yeah. So this is just one wipe of the oil in here, so you can see how dirty these get and how necessary it is to clean. So you can see there's still a lot of oil left. This is just after one pass, but usually I use hot water and let it soak a little bit longer. So I have to do this again. So while I let this soak a little bit longer, the next thing I'm going to do is create a solution for this bowl of parts. So first thing I'm going to do is fill it up with hot water to submerge everything that's in here. Next thing I'm going to do is put Cafisa in the water. Doesn't matter, doesn't have to be a lot, it's actually pretty strong. Like I said, this says to use 6 grams of Cafisa for 1 liter of water, so you don't need that much. So I'm going to let that soak, and then I'm going to show you what it looks like. So you can see just from the hot water and Cafisa, whatever has been touched is already turned to silver from oily brown. So now let's take a look at these hardware pieces. Look at that. So it has some crevices that I still need to work on. But this is virtually clean. So what I like to do is take that same brush and go through each blade once, just break up the oil and chaff that's collected. Great, that looks pretty good. So now I'll clean that with clean water. And then similarly, look at that. So just from soaking in this solution, that looks really good. And some clean water, and that piece is good to go. This rubber gasket just get a paper towel. Just wipe it down. You can see hardly any oil's coming off because it's already in the bowl. Just fell right off. Scrub the inside of this bean probe. Likewise, the lid to the bean hopper. So while these pieces dry, put them aside. Turn this around. So now what we're going to do is clean the face of the door from the inside. You can see there's some oil building up on the glass, and so we're going to clean that up. We're going to take the face off of the drum roaster, clean the inside a little bit. So now we're going to take the larger hex screwdriver, which is provided by Aillio, and take out the screws holding the face in place. So before I take the last screw out, it's good to get your cooling box to catch the face because it's going to remain attached to the machine. Now we take the face off, and what you can't see, maybe you can, is that the computer is attached by this cable right here, and it will remain attached. But if you look inside, you have a lot of buildup right here. This is important to clean because you have your infrared bean sensor right here, and as that gets dirty, your readings can be less and less accurate. So it's really important to keep that clean. And so the first thing that we're going to do is get this oil and chaff off, and then we'll clean that lastly. I'm going to use the same solution and just lightly spray the inside. I like to try to protect the infrared bean sensor hole. Don't spray directly in there. I just want to, that's a really important component on this machine, so. That's better. So now, just like the back, we're going to let that soak for a couple minutes. So the last thing that I do after I clean everything as best as I can, or as best as I'm willing to do, is you get a Q-tip and you just dab a little bit on your Q-tip. And this is isopropyl alcohol, and you're going to clean the IBTS sensor. So I'm going to get a close up here. So we're just going to take this Q-tip and we're going to rub the glass. You can see that cleaned up right away. Look at that. So get around there, clean that hole pretty good. And then I use the other end to dry. And there you go, nice clean sensor. There's your Q-tip on the dry end and the wet end, so you can see how dirty that gets. Okay, so now that everything's clean and the face is open, this is a good time to try to clean out the barrel a little bit. So grab your favorite vacuum and get whatever dry stuff you can. Now, I don't clean the drum of the barrel because you actually want that coffee oil to coat the drum. And so I could be mistaken, but my understanding is that you keep that dirty, kind of like a cast iron. So now we're going to put the machine back together. Now that the face is on, we're going to put the back together. All these pieces are clean, very clean. So we're going to slip this back onto its position. When you put this in, you want to make sure that the blade is popped out just a little bit, not shoved up all the way against the cavity, because it will rub. And so I pull it out a little bit just to make sure that it's positioned correctly. So I wanted to point out, you see this flat head. You want to make sure that this flat part of that rotor aligns with the hole. And then you're good to reassemble your chaff collector. So we want to take our gasket. Now, I will say you can vacuum or clean out the inside of here, but this is just collecting dry chaff, so it's not much of an issue, but you're more than welcome to clean that out. I only do that occasionally. So what you're going to do is you want the groove side down, align this up with the gasket hole, and you just kind of snap it into place. It just snaps into place like that. Put your chaff basket back in. This is still a little wet, so you might want to let everything dry before you use the machine again. It also just kind of pops into place. Put that back on. And there you have it. So now before I put this back into use, here's the bean checker. Here's the bean checker. We're just going to screw that back into place. Put that there. And there you have it. So now your Aillio Bullet is clean. I would just maybe wait till the next day so everything can dry before you start firing up the machine again. But there you have it. So that's how I clean the Aillio Bullet, about every 30 kilos or so, or as I see buildup happening, and try to keep it clean. I had my Aillio Bullet for about a year, and I've cleaned it, I don't know, quarterly. So if you have any questions or suggestions on how I can do this better, please let me know, and look forward to hearing from you guys.